Welcome to Vizsla Vlogs. I am a dog sitter and dog owner. I recently got a Vizsla, and the purpose of this channel is to document all of her adventures and just share tips and tricks that I learned along the way raising her. My new Vizsla puppy's name is Atalanta, and she'll just go by Atty. Atalanta is just too many syllables, so it'd be too confusing, but I did want a cool name still, so Atalanta, but she'll go by Atty. She was born March 10th, 2025, and I picked her up on May 1st, 2025. So she was slightly under 8 weeks old at that time. She weighed about 7.5 pounds. I had to drive about 6 hours there and 6 hours back through Oklahoma to get her. I did use a breeder. I was able to find them through the AKC. I did some Googling and some checking around with their business to make sure they are legit, and they've been there for a couple of decades, lots of rave reviews, so I didn't see any issues. The price was relatively good, which I think is because they are so far out in the middle of nowhere. And when I went, the breeder was very transparent about the facility. It's really just a dog kennel in the back where he has a few breeding pairs and a couple of litters of puppies. Everything looked pretty good. Everything looked pretty clean. I got to the pick of the litter. I actually put down my deposit around the time that my puppy's mom got pregnant, so I was able to get the pick of the litter. And I will say it was very tough to pick between the 5 different females. They all are very drivey. They're all very friendly. And I ultimately went with Purple, which was the name that she was given by the breeder as a placeholder, because the breeder said that she was the driviest of all of the dogs. She tended to be the most hyper, so I thought she'll be a pretty good fit. I have a pretty big dog that's gonna probably be a lot for a puppy to handle, and I think probably the spunkiest of the litter is gonna be best. So far, I would say the main personality highlights that I've noticed about her, that she is very feisty and beyond what a normal puppy is. She does know not to bite. She'll mouth a little bit. She doesn't bite. Super sharp claws, though. I don't know if it's just a Vizsla thing, but super sharp claws. I trimmed them today. I'll keep trimming them back a little bit at a time just so they aren't so horrible to deal with. But once she's done all of her running around and playing, she's pretty tame for the rest of the day. We'll get her energy back at night. She needs to go out and get that energy out a little bit, but she generally has been sleeping through the night, so 7 to 8 hours, no problem. If you're not familiar with the Vizsla breed, the Vizsla is a versatile red-coated gun dog built for long days in the field. For centuries, these rugged but elegant athletes have been the pride of Hungarian sportsmen, and their popularity in America increases with each passing year. The Vizsla is easily recognized by his sleek golden rust coat. They can stand between 21 to 24 inches at the shoulder and are the picture of a lean, light-footed hunter's companion. The long, silky ears frame a facial expression that is sensitive and loving around the house and intense when at work. As a hunter, expected to work closely with humans, Vizslas form a tight bond with their owners and hate to be left alone. Athletes of many talents, Vizslas excel at various sports and activities. They are eager and graceful trotters of great stamina, making them ideal jogging or biking companions. An expert on the breed tells us if you don't have the time to encourage this breed's full use of its brain, you're wasting a good dog. And that is from the AKC website. I'll add to that the males are typically 55 to 60 pounds, females 44 to 55 pounds, and the life expectancy is 12 to 14 years. That's all pretty in line with what the breeder said. He said that he expects for Atty to get about 50 pounds and that his Vizslas have been living for almost 15 years. My main goals for this puppy are to use her as a companion for my Doberman. She'll also go running with me, and if I ever get into hunting, she should be good at that, since that is what the breed is specifically for. But the plan is very active lifestyle, and she should be a lot of fun. There are a lot of pros to the Vizsla as a breed. They don't have a lot of health issues the way a lot of purebreds do. They tend to be very good with families, good with young children, social with other dogs. They aren't good guard dogs, that's for sure. But I already have a guard dog, so I don't really need that. I just want a dog that's going to be easy, to manage around people and other animals, especially since I dog sit. I didn't want another large dog. My Doberman is currently probably 105 pounds, so he's a handful to take with me places. He's too big to go running for very long. I just don't want that wear and tear on his joints. So a 50-pound dog is perfect. And I went with female because I wanted to avoid same-sex aggression. Generally, my dog has been very good with medium to smaller females, or really all females, but especially medium to smaller females. I think they're going to be fine. Her first couple of weeks at home have gone well. She's mostly potty trained at this point. I think she was already maybe potty trained. I didn't ask the breeder, but it seems like she knows to go outside. And I also just keep her on a strict schedule of going outside anytime that she's had water or food. And of course, I always let her out first thing in the morning. She's had about 4 accidents now. That's not that big of a deal over 2 weeks, though. I would say this is far less than I would expect for a brand new puppy. I think it's just keeping to the schedule, making sure that she's getting outside consistently, and that'll be that. The only puppy supplies that I've needed so far have been a small crate and her food. The breeder had her on 4 Health, which is available at Tractor Supply and online. I'll drop a link to that. And I've also been using a small crate to crate her at night. I know there are a lot of places that have extensive lists of what puppies need on day 1. I would say food and a crate is all that they need on day 1. And I would go as cheap as possible on the crate, especially if it's going to be a smaller crate, which I do recommend for puppies. I'll drop a link to the one that Amazon has, and you can pick that up for about $30. What you can expect from the channel going forward is puppy updates on milestones that she's reached, maybe some training stuff, some Vizsla specific stuff, and just lifestyle with dogs in general. I don't have any intention of forcing her to do a ton of training at this age. I think the main goal is potty training, recall, and then just making sure that she has a good temperament and that she's well socialized. I don't really care too much about obedience or advanced obedience at this age. I think that's it for this update, and we'll see you in the next one.